try something exciting that we have not done here often since I've been here.
Okay, so we're singing this as a round, but first we're singing it through one time, as you see on the screen. And then after we sing it through one time, all the parts will be written in text. And Jay, your people on that side of the sanctuary will start, and I'll bring in this side when we're ready on the second line.
So we'll sing it through once, and then the first verse we will start here, and then after we're done with the first verse, this group will come. Ready?
Yep. Well, that was pretty good. Or a bit of a mystery, maybe, I don't know. Good morning. I am Klaus Obermeit. I serve this church on the worship committee and the multimedia committee. We especially want to welcome our visitors, both on campus and over live stream. We invite our visitors to participate in any of our events, and we welcome visitors to find out more about us and Unitarian Universalism. We invite you to consider registering on our virtual guest book, which you can find via a link on the homepage of our website, uusrq.org. And there's a banner at the top marked Welcome Visitors. If you do that, we'll send you our weekly newsletter and Zoom links to our virtual events. If you are in person, there's a sign-up sheet for visitors, and as always, we invite you to join us for coffee and conversation after the service. We look forward to getting to know you. Now, if you're interested in becoming a member of Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota, please join the minister, Reverend J. Wolin, a board member and a membership team representative, 15 minutes after the service in the minister's office in the Lexo wing across from the sanctuary. This coming Sunday is the annual holiday show and sale for artists and artisans in the Lexo Gallery. I hope you will make a brief announcement at the service. Well, guess what? That's what I'm doing. I'm just reading the script. What can I do? This year, the participants are Peg Green, Gail Koppock, Phyllis Muffson, Arlene Levin, Pam Zeck, Ellery Hamner, with handmade gifts for you and all the people you love. And we also want to welcome back to our sanctuary Synia Carroll, she will be singing now about our wonderful world.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see glass skies of blue and clouds of white, the longest day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They'll always learn more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of rainbow, so pretty in the sky. Also all the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them
J. Wolin, the settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. Woo. You know it's a mystery. You know it's a mystery to me is that. That is a mystery to me, how these sounds all happen and so forth.
That's not the right slide, is it?
And you know what else is a mystery? I'm sure there's some sociological thing
Slide-
about it,
slide
but like
sort
how
of,
everybody fills in the seats on the side and in the back, but not in the middle. I'm just going to let that mystery be. So, our opening reading today is from me. As we awake each day, each from our own experiences and circumstances, we are often left to wonder, why am I here? Why is anything here? What am I meant to do? What is the purpose of it all? How will I make it through the day? Where does it all lead? As we gather today, I invite you to let the questions go and just experience and be in awe of the wonder and the mystery of creation itself and our own creation. As we gather today, let us remember our ability to create with our lives, individually and collectively as a people of faith. Let our coming together today allow us to dip ourselves into the mystery of existence. As we light our chalice here today, let its flame be a symbol of the light within that burns continuously with a passion to find love within ourselves, towards others, and for the environment. Please join us in lighting the chalice by joining in our chalice lighting words, which will be up on the screen. As we light this chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, we affirm a source of wisdom, the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life.
Mystery. Okay, how are we doing? Good, okay. Today's story is Why? Written by Adam Rex and illustrated by Claire King. Why? Why? Okay, I don't know. Today is kind of a mysterious day. Yeah, there we go. Why? Okay, so Why? Written by Adam Rex, illustrated by Claire King. At the mall, there we go, at the mall, we find, go ahead and run, you puny fools. No one can withstand the power of Dr. X-ray. Next slide. It's a little on the slow side today. Okay. There we go. Except for our one little girl who looks up and says, hopefully, why? Why? And Dr. X-ray replies, because of my X-ray blaster and because of my battle suit, it is indestructible. Why? Okay, there's that part. There we go. Because it's made of mysterious meteor metal. Why? Because a meteor landed on my carport last year. Why? I believe it chose me, chose to bestow on me unimaginable power. Why? Ugh, you are relentless. because it is my destiny to rule the world, not destroy, rule the world. Why? Because the world has been very unfair to me. Why? Because I want things and I don't always get them. Why? I don't know. My dad says I should just try harder, but I did try. I put my heart and soul into that yarn store, and it just didn't work out. Why? I guess people don't knit as much as they used to. Why? Exactly. Why? Why? Knitting is amazing. And soon they will see just how amazing it is. Why? Because if they don't, I'm going to zap them with my X-ray blaster. Why? Because none of them understand me. Even my dad doesn't understand me. He wanted me to be a doctor, a real one. Why? Because he was a doctor. Why? Because his dad was a doctor, and his dad's dad was a doctor, and that's how it is in my family. Why? Because we all just did what we were told, so now it's my turn to tell people what to do. Why? Because I'm going to take over the world. Why? Because I deserve it. Why? Well, all right, maybe I don't deserve it, but I want it. Why? Because I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Why? Because then maybe my daddy will be proud of me? I'm the bad guy, aren't I? Switch to the next one. There you go. I'm the bad guy, aren't I? I thought I was the hero. Why? Because everybody's battling something. Everyone wants to win. And that's what hero stories are about, right? Winning. You gotta have winners and losers. Why? I don't know, but you make a good point. Boy, look at me. I don't even rule myself. Thanks, kid. You've given me a lot to think about, and I could take over the world, but why? There you are. Why must you keep wandering off like that? I don't know. You know, you will always be a mystery to me. Why? Leave it to children to simplify how to handle the mysterious things that are in our lives with one short question. Why? And although I'm still trying to determine if she was just a typical little girl or a manipulative psychotherapist in disguise. Life is full of mysterious things that we just don't know the answer to, and some we never will, and that's okay. But how do you handle those mysteries? You can make assumptions about and your own narrative, like Dr. X-Ray did with that mysterious meteor. You can lash out and try to take over the world as a way to control the unknown. You can throw a temper tantrum when the things you do know don't go the way you like. And you can try to understand your parents. Never an easy task. But even harder sometimes is to reflect on yourself and how you see the mysterious world around you and how it impacts your actions for better or for worse. Do you fear things you don't know the answer to, or do you try to figure them out with curiosity? One leads to stress and the other to a longer life. You get to choose. Now I'm going to invite our younger UUs to join me in the West Wing, where we will learn more about a mystery in life. What is God? Thank you.
They say he wandered very far over land and sea. Only to shine and sad of eye, but very wise was he. Then one day, one magic day, he passed my way, and while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing that you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Then one day, one magic day, he passed my way, and while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing that you will ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in
Our centering words today. Who are our centering words from? Okay. How does one address a mystery by the Reverend Gordon McKeeman? How does one address a mystery? Cautiously. Let us go cautiously then to the end of our certainty, to the boundary of all we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the perimeter of the unknown which surrounds us. How does one address a mystery? Reverently. Let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful, holy, whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistence splits concrete with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and every moment. How do we address a mystery? Hopefully. out of a need for wholeness in our own lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of timeless and time. How do we address the holy? Quietly. For no words will explain the inarticulate or summon the presence that is always present, even in our absence. But what shall I say? Anything. Any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of your being, addressed to being itself. Or perhaps nothing. No complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing or of not knowing. Simply be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadorned, unafraid. And at the end, say amen. And as we enter into a time of silence now, let us contemplate the mysteries of our lives. So I will say, growing up, I did not recognize mystery in my life. From childhood through my teenage years, I did go with my family every week to temple and followed the observances. This was done as much out of obligation to our ancestors rather than out of any heartfelt belief. But I was raised with and thus looked at the world with a very cynical and rational mindset. And the world confirmed what I looked for. The criminal activities in the streets I grew up in, the corruption by my local and federal governments in the 1960s and 70s, my early experiences in the New York business world, all confirmed what I was taught, that it was a dog-eat-dog world, and there was no rhyme or reason as to who lived and who died, and life just seemed fairly random. Now, on the one hand, I could say that life is a mystery because everything seemed random. But on the other hand, I was also raised to have hope for a better future. And also, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, who, was always, solving mysteries, right? And that mysteries could be solved. So I just had this inner sense that there was more to this life. So just as I found out that the world was larger than the neighborhood I grew up in, I imagined my spiritual and religious life as well could be more expansive than what I learned as a child. So I started searching. I always found it funny that in my religious journey, it was not until my 20s that I first found out about the mystical Jewish tradition Kabbalah. And the first person I heard it from was Madonna. And I thought, could Madonna be the chosen one? Someone to lead me on my spiritual journey? No, that was too much for me. No. Although I did pick up a couple of books on Kabbalah because I heard her talking about it. And I continued my search. I read about Taoism and Hinduism and Buddhism. And then I found Unitarian Universalism, where the search for expansive wisdom is encouraged. And I have to say, the search within Unitarian Universalism really deepened my understanding of Judaism and led me to formalize my Buddhist practices and affiliation. And so the truth is, if you search for something, you are often bound to find it. Or at least you will connect with others who are on the same journey that you are. And it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I was looking for different spiritual understanding. I searched for it, I found it. The same thing when I bought my Toyota Prius hybrid, a Toyota C, and I never used to see them on the road before then, but after I purchased it, all of a sudden I kept seeing all these Toyota Priuses on the road there. And it wasn't as if they weren't there all along. I was just now focused on looking for them. And on Google, I admit I found this on Google, and so therefore it must be true. I'm joking. But there is actually a scientific theory for this called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, which discusses how humans have selective attention. I don't know, I didn't read all the scientific studies about it, but intuitively that actually did make sense to me. And I think that is true theologically as well. I started searching. I searched by reading. I searched by experiencing different spiritual practices. I searched by experiencing the larger world that I lived in. And then even more risky, I searched by exploring my own inner life. And all of this connected me to people different than I was. It also connected me to people in general. I just want to say it's very easy in this life, in this world, to become isolated, to just get stuck in one belief system, one culture, one way of being, and shut out information that contradicts that. But by intentionally being open to others, I learned the world wasn't always the way I experienced it. By interacting with others, I answered that age-old question, am I the only one who thinks the way I think? Right? And I I think I was both happy and disappointed when I realized that others thought differently than I did. You know, I found on the one hand, I thought, oh, well, I'm very unique in the way I think. And then on the other hand, it was like, oh, I have a lot more to learn also. But what I found was that there are caring, curious, loving, and yes, even devout people in the world with integrity. If you look for that, you will find it, if you search for that. And once I realized that, and then I started to search for it. And as I said, what you search for, you will find. And I found that in Unitarian Universalism for myself. The most fulfilling, challenging, open, beautiful, and yes, I would say mysterious religion and group of people that I have ever found in Unitarian Universalism. And on my journey and looking back, even before I started it as an intentional journey, I have had experiences in my life that I could not explain by logic or by reason, whether it was being in the right place at the right time or the right person showing up with the perfect advice that I needed at that particular moment. Experiencing a beauty that lifted my spirit at a time when my spirit needed lifting. Or the feeling of connectedness to the universe, whether meditating on top of a mountain or walking a labyrinth, or the peaceful calm and the voice that this once quiet, mild-mannered accountant found the first time I got up and preached a sermon. I know quiet and mild-mannered is not something always attributed to me. I joked in my sermon description this week, what I am going to say is a mystery. And that is actually true on most Sundays at the beginning of the week. I do research and then towards the reading, and towards the end of the week, I just sit down in front of a computer and I just let it flow out. I do edit it a little, but you know, it just comes out intuitively. And I trust that each week it will flow out. And it's important to notice these times. One might call them synchronicities, but these times of, you know, non-rational, non-logic type of events. It's important to realize them and accept that there is something unknowable in the universe, or unknown in the universe, in the way the universe works. There are deep questions that we come together to think about. As the song we sang said, where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Those are the big questions. Do we believe we can ever answer those questions? Are they just unknown now, or are they unknowable? And even if you, I think about, accept the Big Bang Theory and evolution, which I do, what happened before the Big Bang? Is the universe just energy expanding and contracting? Is our existence just a cosmic accident? Or is there some purpose to all of it? Perhaps we are just a sociological experiment of an alien species as depicted in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or an illusion created by machines as depicted in The Matrix. There we go. The Matrix was slow in updating right then. And as fun as that can be to speculate, it doesn't answer my question of how the mystery of existence can help comfort us and help us in our life in the world. There is the known, the unknown, and then the unknowable. I think back to a time before Copernicus, when humans believed the Earth was the center of the universe. They knew this to be true, right? After Copernicus in the 16th century, there was a new paradigm that over time people begrudgingly and after much pain and sorrow accepted, right? That we are just one of many planets around the sun. I still claim Pluto as a planet. We can have our difference of opinion on that. Maybe because of, I was a Disney fan of Pluto. I don't know, the dog, I don't know. And but also that we are just one solar system among many. Then we learned of quantum physics, and now some posit string theory as a new way to imagine the universe. We have to make decisions based on the best facts at any given time, but let us remain open to what is unknown now, that maybe one day will be known, which leads to the question, is anything unknowable, or is it just unknown now? So one thing which we know with a fair degree of certainty that is knowable and certain is that each week we will take a collection here. And so we invite you to be as generous as you can. For those online, there is a link in the YouTube video, as well as in the order of service, there is a QR code. Let this sacred time begin.
We apprehend the holy in the alternate voids and fullness of a cathedral, in the space that separates the salient features of a picture, in the living geometry of a flower, a seashell, an animal, in the pause and intervals between the notes of music, in their differences of tone and sonority, and finally, on the plane of conduct, in the love and gentleness, the confidence and humility which give beauty to the relationships between human beings. Synia?
Chorus part, you'll know because I'll I'm going to do my best to play the tambourine, not mess up too much. The whole idea is that song's talking about what you got to be, right? Everybody's telling everybody what you got to be. You got to be this, you got to be that. But what really got to do, and the bottom line, is finding the love. Finding the love within in the deepest part of yourself, and whatever you do, always ask yourself, are you coming from a place of love? And if you can say yes, then you're doing what you got to do. Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be hard. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be bad. You gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said, read the books your father read. Try to solve the puzzle in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. Yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you. Behind if you can't stand the pace. The world won't stop spinning, can't stop it if you try to. Guess that's just danger staring you in the face. Remember, listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause your tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Let me hear you. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. Come on. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yes, it will.
So how can we know anything? We know our senses are limited. I remember the first time I purchased a dehumidifier. I was shocked. Within a couple of hours, that bucket was filled up with water, visibly. Where once there was nothing, I now had a bucket of water. What was unseeable became seeable. Now, some things like that can be explained. Still, it always made me wonder, what else am I not seeing or experiencing? Perhaps as I've gotten older, in my lifetime, I I have learned many things that were previously unknown, and I have concluded there is still much I have to learn. And as I get older, I accept that there is much I will never know. As each year passes, we find new, unknowable mysteries to pursue. Now, this picture that's about to be put up there is from the NASA James Webb Telescope. It's over 7,000 light years away from Earth. It is thought this area, which is called the Pillars of Creation, are incubators for new stars, new creations, new galaxies. We don't really know this, but based on the best information we have, we scientists theorize this. Others theorize that the pillars have already been destroyed by a supernova, but due to its distance from us, we have not been able to see it yet. There is so much about life we don't understand or cannot perceive with our senses that we are forced to theorize about. And we spend so much time arguing sometimes that we forget to just be in awe of life. You know, I used to yearn after mystery. I would travel to sacred places around the country, meditating on mountaintops, having my chakras read, going to special energy vortexes, and it was all very meaningful. But now, I have just learned to embrace the mystery of everyday life with wonder and appreciation of being here. I just take time every day to recognize the wonder of my existence. It becomes a spiritual practice in and of itself. Especially when I walk my dog, I do this, right? I see the beauty of a flower or the smile of a child. Or, you know, last week I was out at the Gulf, and you know, the Gulf, there's just the sound of the Gulf waves, the feel of the toes in my sand, in my toes, the feel of the sand in my toes. You knew what I meant. Either way. It is how also I feel about the gathering of this caring community, the kind word, the good deed, the awareness of each other's pains, the lifting up of each other's spirit, the sharing of music that touches our soul in ways that words do not. And we're going to pass on the video. But if you get a chance, Mont Blanc has a series of 1-minute videos called The Beauty of a Second, and people just sent them in, and they really are pretty amazing. It makes you realize that there is never nothing going on, right? There's always something. Every second there is something beautiful and mysterious that is happening, and all we have to do is look for it, right? To be aware of it in the everyday of life. And even when things seem harsh and inexplicably painful, and the world sometimes seems to make no sense, we can be the beauty and the mystery. And we as a community create the beauty and the mystery together. And I'm just going to quote Bruce Springsteen here. Although he's speaking about his concerts, I really think it applies to us as a religious community. He says, and I quote, I do believe that folks come to be reminded of things. I think they can be reminded of who they are at their most joyous, at their deepest, to be reminded of life at its fullest, to a sense of time. People come to be among the crowd, to be reminded of who we are and who we can be collectively. It may be a mystery, but it is also a fact that people have for time immemorial come together to celebrate with awe the creation of the universe and to seek answers to the deep, unknowable questions of life. And this tells me there is a mysterious power in what we do together, though in different forms and different times, each with our own beliefs in how and why the world is the way it is, and how to improve our communal lives. Coming together in religious community, we find comfort in walking with each other, in our sorrows of life, and in celebrating the joys of life together. Together, we find the courage to face the unknown and the unknowable, and to learn how to be and live in the world together. Together, we can see ourselves not just as individuals adrift in a universe, but see ourselves as part of something larger than just ourselves, making connections with others. We see our impact on others, and others' impact on us, and we are reminded that our lives are not just about us. And so, let us surprise ourselves. Let us surprise ourselves with mystery. Let us seek to unlock the mystery of ourselves and each other and learn from it, and to bring out our best selves. Don't be scared. Be open. Be curious. Be loving. And let it renew your spirit. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit for closing hymn number 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul. The chalice, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all for your presence here today. Thank you.